Good morning, my lovely students. Yeah, yesterday I told you I was going to give you some illustration on how to plot the graphs, especially on average fixed cost, average variable cost, and then the average total cost. So this morning I want us to do a very simple illustration and use that illustration to plot a graph. Now we know we have quantity here. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5. These are the output level. And we have total fixed cost. Remember, total fixed cost does not change. So we have 20 here, we have 20 here, we have 20 here, we have 20 here, we have 20 here. Now we want to calculate average fixed cost. So this is what we now want to do. Now, I told you earlier on that anytime we talk about average fixed cost, we are talking about the fixed cost, the cost per unit output in terms of the fixed cost. And mathematically, it is calculated as average fixed cost is equals to total fixed cost divided by quantity. So therefore, you are going to divide the total fixed cost at each level with the output level of that level. So average fixed cost 1 is equals to total cost is 20 over 1. That will give us 20. So that's the average fixed cost when output is 1. Average fixed cost when output is 2 will be equals to 20 divided by 2. That will give us 10. Average fixed cost when output is 3 will be equals to 20 divided by 3, which will give us 6.6. Average fixed cost when output is 4 will be equals to 20 divided by 4, which will give us 5. And then average fixed cost when output is 5 will be equals to 20 divided by 5, which will give us 4. Now we are going to use these figures to plot the average fixed cost curve. So I'm just going to copy these figures onto this table and then I'll clean this one and then plot the graph here. So we have 20 here, we have 10 here, we have 6.6 here, we have 5 here, and we have 4 here. So now look at it. I'm going to have my graph. This is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. So here is 0. This side is always represented as cost. So this side is the average fixed cost figure I'm going to look for. We have cost here. Maybe cost is measured in cities or dollars. We have output here. And then we have these lines on our graph. On your graph, you have the lines there, 2 centimeter lines. Then you have these lines there. So this shouldn't be a problem for you. Now you're going to choose a scale. Now look at it. My highest figure is 20. My smallest figure or my lowest figure is 4. So for the sake of this board, I'm going to choose 2 centimeter equals to 5 units. So that this place will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And the output, we have 1 up to 5. So 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, 4 is here, 5 is here. I know you know this. We have done this severally, especially under tools of economic analysis. So I expect you to be able to be familiar with all these graph words. Now we go. When output is 1, average fixed cost is 20. So we are looking for 1 and 20. Look at 1 here. And look at 20 here. So we mark this point. When average fixed cost is 2, output is 10. So we are going to look for 2 and 10. Now look at 2 here and look at 10 here. So they meet at this level, they intersect at this point. So we have another point here. Now when average fixed cost is 3, and when average fixed cost is 6.6, output is 3. So we are looking at 3 here against 6.6. Let's say this is 5, so let's take 6.6 to be somewhere here. So we mark here. Now when output is 4, average fixed cost is 5. So we are looking for 4 here and then look at 5 here. So on the graph you can easily follow the lines. So we have it here. And finally, when average fixed cost is 4, output is 5. So we look at 5 here and then 4 is below 5. This is 5, so 4 is probably below. So we have it here. Now when I finish, I'm just going to draw a line to join these points together. So this is going to be my curve. This is called average fixed cost. So this is how average fixed cost is plotted on a graph. Now the next thing is the behavior of the average fixed cost. As you can see, initially it falls very sharply. Then from there it begins to fall very slowly. The reason is very simple. Because you're dividing a constant number by an increasing number. That is basically the reason. 20 by 1, 20 by 2, 20 by 3, 20. So as the output increases, the average fixed cost figure gets smaller. But the issue is it will never cross this x-axis. It will never cross it. It might come close to it, but it will never cross it. So when you ask why it behaves this way, it's simply because a constant number, which is the total fixed cost, is being divided by an increasing variable or increasing number. Now, illustration number 2. We want to do graphical illustration of average variable cost. We are done with average fixed cost. Now again, yesterday I explained to you that the average variable cost is simply the cost per unit output in terms of variable cost. So average variable cost is equals to total variable cost over quantity. Now we're going to calculate average variable cost at each level. So without wasting much time, average variable cost when output is 1 will be equals to the total variable cost there is 10 divided by 1, which will give us 10. So we have 10 here. Average variable cost when output is 2 will be equals to 16 divided by 2, which is going to give us 8. So we have 8 here. Average variable cost when output is 3 will be equals to 18 divided by 3. So we have 6 there. Average variable cost when output is 4 will be equals to 32 divided by 4, which is going to give us 8. And then average variable cost when output is 5 will be equals to 50 divided by 5, which will give us 10. So again, look at the figures of the average variable cost. So we have 6 here, we have 8 here, we have 10 here. You realize that it started at 10, then it started dropping to a lowest point of 6 and it started rising again. So it means it's going to look like this. It's going to fall, it will then reach a minimum point, and after that it will begin to rise again. So it's going to be like a U shape. Let's quickly plot it right now and see what is going to happen. So just look at it here. I'm going to have my graph like this. This is 0. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have them there. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to choose a scale. My highest figure is 10. You can see the average variable cost. Remember, this side is represented as cost. It can be in cedis or dollars. And this side is output. So my highest figure is 10. My lowest figure is 6. So I think I can choose 2 centimeters equals to 2 units based on this particular graph that I have here. So this can be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's go. When output is 1, average variable cost is 10. So I'm going to look for 1 and 10. Look at 1 here. It goes, and look at 10 somewhere here. So I'll mark this point. When output is 2, average variable cost is 8. I'm going to look for 2 and 8. Now look at 2 here. It's good like this. And look at 8 here. So again, I'll mark this point. When output is 3, average variable cost is 6. So look at 3 and 6. Look at 6 is here. And I'm going to look for 3. Look at it. So they'll meet at this point. When output is 4, average variable cost is 8. So I'm going to look for 4 and 8. Now remember, this is 4. I'm going to look for 8. Look at 8 here. So I'll mark this point. And finally, when output is 5, average variable cost is 10. So I'm going to look for 5 and 10. So look at 5 here and look at 10 here. So I'll mark this point. So I'm just going to join the points together. I'm going to draw a line to join the points together. So I have something like this. Just look at it. I have something like this. It goes like this. Then it begins to rise again. It begins. So this is exactly the behavior of the average variable cost. So again, the average variable cost is U-shaped, meaning that it falls initially, attains minimum, and thereafter rises as output level increases, making it a U shape. The question therefore is, why is the average variable cost U shape? There are two things here. The average variable cost is U shape because of the law of returns to a factor. And I will explain this further in the subsequent video. Thank you very much.